I have 7 words for you, the mantra of this new year. These 7 words are going to change your life if you follow them, especially if you're somebody who struggles with focusing on yourself, putting yourself first, prioritizing yourself, all of which leads to better mental health, better physical health, better relationships, better work, better everything. Here are 7 words. Silence is golden. Let's unpack what this means, especially in the context of the new year. The first part of the mantra is silence. Now there's 2 ways I want you to think about silence. The first way to think about silence is literally silence, the absence of sound. And the second meaning is silence, the absence of noise in your mind. Too often we fill our minds with noise. Stories that we tell ourselves that are usually not true. Thoughts about the past, worries about the future, judgments about other people. And we start believing these thoughts and they become self-fulfilling prophecies. Silence is golden. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you a story. There was a king. He heard one day from his advisors that one of the neighboring kingdoms was becoming very powerful and he should really do something about it. So the king got into his war chariot and drove straight to the border of the neighboring kingdom just to see what was going on, to see how powerful this kingdom was. As he was driving along, he saw a farmer plowing his fields. The king stopped and asked the farmer, "Hey, don't you know who I am? Get out of your field right now. We are on our way to invade your kingdom." The farmer didn't even stop plowing. He didn't even look up. The king got back in his chariot and started yelling at the farmer, "Get out of your field, you peasant. UVA got 5 minutes to get out of your field or I'm gone. Nah, have you put to death?" Still, the farmer didn't stop. The king got down from his chariot, stormed over to the farmer and said, "You're gonna regret this. I'm gonna give you 1 minute to get out of your field." The farmer finally looked up, looked at the king and said, "My kingdom for your horse." The king was confused. He said, "What do you mean?" The farmer said, "I'll give you my entire kingdom if you give me that horse you're driving." The king thought about it for a second and said, "You're on." So the king gave the farmer the horse and went back to his chariot, and they continued on to the capital of the neighboring kingdom. On the way, the king could unhelp but wonder why that farmer would uneven look up when he heard the king's demands. And the king started thinking, maybe this kingdom is as powerful as I thought it was, because if the farmer was unafraid of me, then the rest of the people probably aren't either. And as the king got closer to the capital, he saw more and more farmers with their horses and plows, and he realized he had been tricked. The farmer had tricked him into giving him the most valuable horse in the king's kingdom. And the king learned an important lesson that day. Sometimes those who seem the weakest are actually the strongest. Sometimes those who seem the most powerless are actually the most powerful. And sometimes those who seem the most insignificant are actually the most important. Now, why am I telling you this story? Because too often we do the same thing the king did. We look outwards for threats, and we judge other people, and we try to control other people, and we forget about what's important. What's actually important, because we're so busy trying to look after ourselves and make sure we're okay. But when we look outwards for answers and for threats, we miss what's right in front of us. Silence is golden. When you look inwards, when you turn off the news, when you stop comparing yourself to other people, when you stop judging other people, when you stop fighting with other people, when you look within, when you focus on your own life and you take care of yourself, you discover that you are the most important person in your life. You are the most important relationship in your life. You are the most important thing in your life. And when you understand this, you start making better decisions. You start being kinder to others. And you start living a life that's true to who you are instead of who you think you're supposed to be. Silence is golden.